Hi, everybody. Welcome to session 2 of Finding Creative Purpose. We're so glad you're here with us this evening. And if you're joining us from another part of the world, maybe it's good morning to you. So welcome, everyone, no matter your time zone or where you're calling in from. We're so glad to be with you to think about storytelling, culture, joy, and then especially today during session 2, music production and songwriting. We are teaming up between Soundtrap and Science Lab. My name is Jess, and I'm from the Soundtrap team. And we are here because we are super stoked about supporting teachers and students find the most creative opportunities to explore sound recording, whether that's in music class or in poetry writing, or whether it's podcasting about science topics, whatever it may be. We want to be a place where students can express their ideas, get creative, and explore their talents. Now, that happens to be for us as young as kindergartners all the way through colleges and university and beyond. And we're so excited to team up with Soul Science Lab. Before I pass the mic over to the Soul Science Lab team, I'd love to introduce you to a Soundtrap team member today. Serena, please say hello. We're so happy you're here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to show what we're going to create in Soundtrap, and thank you for having me here.
Amazing. Thanks for being here. The awesome team from Soul Science Lab. We are so thrilled to be here and collaborating with you yet again. Thank you. Thank you. Please share a little bit about Soul Science Lab.
Definitely. It's great to be here with you, Jess, Serena. Thank you, everybody at Soundtrap. I'm Chenlo, one half of Soul Science Lab.
And my name is Asante. I mean the other half of Soul Science Lab, and it's just a pleasure to be here. We just want to reiterate, thank everybody for taking their time out, all of the educators and creatives, and we're just excited about another wonderful webinar. Chen, what are we about to get into? Let's talk, let's turn the energy up.
Listen, definitely. Well, Soul Science is a music and multimedia duo. I'm an MC, songwriter. Asante is a composer, producer. We are artists with performance as well as educators, and we like to get the party started with a performance. So let's check out this performance from our only outdoor performance last year of the album Make a Joyful Noise.
We always keep our head up, you dig, and we never let up.
Never let up.
You heard me? Hey. Okay, y'all can bounce. It's okay. This is a safe space. Get ready for that gut bucket. Yeah. This is what they call a gut bucket. Woo, that blues. That how low can you go? Hey, how high can you get? Come on. Matter of fact, home players, I think they need y'all to kick in that door one more time. Feel that in your tongue. I know y'all feel that sauce. So you did. I was talking to a caterpillar. One day, and this is what it said. Yo, caterpillar, talk to him.
I don't really know, hey, if I'm gonna make it. I'm feeling unsure. They're really trying to hurt me. I'm not behind bars. I just wanna eat.
Hey, Jonathan Bowman.
I'm under their feet.
One more time.
I don't really know if I'm gonna make it.
I'm
feeling unsure.
Feeling unsure.
They're really trying to hurt me.
Why they trying to break me? We not behind bars.
I just wanna eat.
Hey, Jonathan Bowman.
I'm under their feet.
Break it down. What they need to do?
Don't you let up, gotta get up, keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
Don't you let up, gotta get up, keep your head up.
Don't you let up, gotta get up, keep your head up. Oh, don't you let up, gotta get up.
Little caterpillar wanna caterpillar, eat a milkweed, see a fly daffodil. They wanna kill me before I even grow. Don't they know that I'm a butterfly? I'm so beautiful. At every stage wanna lock me in a cage, but I turn into myself cause I'm so self-made. Hate me cause they hate me, they know what I could be. Just wait till I can fly, set this butterfly free.
Listen, if right. But you dig, no matter the challenges, come on, no matter what was happening, I minded my cocoon and I bloomed into a butterfly. Let's go. You dig? Let's break it down a little bit though. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with breaking down if you're gonna build it back up. That's right. You know what I mean? Some of the elders understand that. I mean, really, I can say this next thing and leave. It's the truth, but y'all gotta feel me on this. Let's go. Back when I was a caterpillar, they ain't want me. Now I'm a butterfly, said they all on me. Back when I was a caterpillar, they ain't want me. Now I'm a butterfly, said they all on me. Back when I was a caterpillar, they ain't want me. Now I'm a butterfly, said they all on me. Back when I was a caterpillar, they ain't want me. I'm a butterfly, and all on me. I say, once upon a time I was born, I was new. A little caterpillar, I ain't know what to do. I had to learn to hustle, I was hungry for food. Every day was just a struggle, my surroundings were cruel. Police tried to snatch me, haters tried to trap me. Had to grow weight, move muscle like an athlete. Tried to clip my wings in the Bing, check my rap sheet. So I got focused, smoked them all like a track meet. I had a choice, so I could cool. Then let it bloom. If you want a thing, then affirm it, make room. You're meant to butterfly, not to die in a whoa, 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 whoa. I say you're meant to butterfly, not die too soon. Don't die too soon. Yo, home players, start the door up. Let's go. It's so funky, don't you agree? Let me just get drums and vocals next.
I don't really know if I'm gonna make it.
Hey, hands together.
I'm feeling unsure. They're really trying to break
Come on,
it.
y'all gotta do better than
I'm
that.
behind bars. I just wanna eat.
Excellent, 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 excellent. So that was Don't Let Up off the Make a Joyful Noise album, coming to a platform near you hopefully this year, and that's off our visual album. And I think that's really amazing because that was the genesis even of this curriculum that got created and kind of the genesis of how and why we're here today. So on that note, Jess, can you talk to us a little bit about what we're going to get into today? Let's look at the agenda.
You bet. And I know you couldn't see me, but I was jamming out during your song. So thank you for setting up such a good vibe. And I'm so excited to sort of dive more into your creative process today. So let's talk a little bit about where we're headed. Today, we're going to do a quick recap from webinar 1. So if you're new with us today, don't worry. If you missed us the first time around, you're absolutely where you should be. We'll get you caught up. We are going to go ahead and dive into an actual live beat demo, which will be really exciting to see happen. Serena is going to collaborate and think aloud in real time with Asante and Shen. And then we're going to deep dive into songwriting. So looking at the whole process itself, thinking about how we start, what the brainstorming and sort of that creative process looks like at the beginning, how we can discover and add and hopefully celebrate our cultures, and then really build that through hooks and verses, and then explore some templates to help you get started and to create some structure if you're looking for some guidance. From there, we'll go back in and record and see a collaborative demo in real time. And then we'll set you up for success for session 3 with our next assignment. So you'll get a chance to actually practice in real time and get some of that experience. And then we'll jump into Q&A at the end and answer any questions that came up. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm so excited to see and explore with you all today.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Jess. Actually want to jump off with expectations if we could. Want to just find out, one, who's in the room and what you expect to get from this session. Anybody that's in the stream, on the stream, just let us know where you're coming from. You know, are you an educator? Are you an artist? And you know, what are you expecting to get out of this session? Any of those things. Let us know who you are and you know where you're tuning in from. We'll take a few seconds to see who's in the building.
Dope. And you know how you feeling? How you feeling this evening? Just doing a vibe check, evening or morning, whenever this finds you. Definitely. Just doing a vibe check. How you feeling? Where you coming from? And what are you looking to get out of this session.
Yeah, nah, definitely.
We got an educator from Central CA, Central California.
Love it,
I'm
love it,
assuming, or is
love
that
it.
Canada? Not sure.
Yeah, CA, that could be California, or probably Canada, Central Canada.
Canada, probably Canada.
Yeah, Florida, aspiring songwriter. And let's see,
My friends are
Jay.
pushing me to record in the studio. Listen, Jay, you came to the right place. I think the really dope thing about what we're going to discover is the studio is right on the device you're looking at us on. So you're
Yep.
already on the studio right now.
Yeah,
As we're watching these populate, Chin, maybe we want to like kind of get into like, what are some of your expectations for the session?
Listen, man, I love connecting and collaborating with creatives, educators. I'm always here just to give and share. I also, I'm also here to learn, lifelong student. And so anything I can gather and gain from this session that can help me in my own practice, I'm here for it all. How about you?
Nah, that's really dope. I mean, you actually took my answer, you know what I'm saying? So I try to come up with something original. But this is what we love to do. Anytime I can build with other creatives and other educators around the creative process, I'm really excited. That's why I get up in the morning. It keeps me going. And I think essentially anytime you can tell your story or you can help other people tell their story, you give them the agency to liberate themselves, to be free to construct a world of their own doing. So I feel like, even though we're talking technical things and platforms, this is very revolutionary and radical work we're embarking upon and helping people do. And of course, we have our resident producer, songwriter, educator, you know what I'm saying, Soundtrap ambassador. How about you, Serena? What are some of your expectations for this session?
Well, I'm super excited to share the songwriting process from an educator perspective and to talk about how it was and how teachers can implement Soundtrap and songwriting into their classrooms.
Perfect. That sounds
That's
awesome.
That's
So,
really
man,
dope.
let's go ahead and jump into that process so we can get everybody that's on the line going with this thing. Get it started. So, about Soul Science Lab. We have Soul Science University, a bunch of amazing courses on songwriting, production, Black music, etc. You can check all that out at Soul Science University. And today we're going to be focused specifically on activities, worksheets, and templates that are in the Make a Joyful Noise curriculum and workbook. It integrates with Google Classroom, and of course, it connects with Soundtrap. And Asante, we had an assignment last time, right? What was that assignment?
We certainly did have an assignment. And excuse me, the first assignment, for those who had the pleasure of attending the first webinar, I just want to shout out our repeat offenders in the building. You know what I'm saying? If you back for a second time, but if you remember, the assignment from that session was to create a beat using the beat template in the Make a Joyful Noise workbook. And just to double back, I don't want to stress it too much, but I just want to say this workbook was created in real time because Chen and I had the opportunity to go into a classroom in Brooklyn and implement the Make a Joyful Noise curriculum. At that time, we just had the 10 videos, but we saw that we could further immerse and further activate students and teachers if we created something that was innovative, something that was like real-time responsive, and something that provided templates. So that's how this came about. So the directions were to go to the music production section, activate the beat template. There were a number of templates we created. Some were like hip hop, some were boom bap, some were trap, some were house, and you could activate those things. When you click the loop or the template you want to utilize, like magic, it just opens up in Soundtrap for you easily. Then from there, you can adjust the tempo accordingly. You can speed the tempo up, you can slow it down, or you can keep it where it is. You know what I'm saying? It just whatever you want to do. After that, the next piece was to get a loop from the loop bank. Now, Soundtrap has an extensive library of thousands and thousands of loops that you can pick from. So it was your job to just find one that resonated with you and that seamlessly kind of work with your template. From there, you want to name it, you want to save it, and then you were supposed to share it with Soul Science Lab in a folder. Now, if you didn't do that, it's all good. We can spend some time today doing it, or you can spend some other time doing it, but we would love for you all to get started on that activity. Of course, in order to really activate this activity, you're going to need the Make a Joyful Noise workbook, but we would love to hear from you nonetheless. And that was your homework. Now, to walk us through these steps, because I just talked a lot, right? I just read a bunch of stuff that's on the screen, but if you're like me, you need to see it activated in real time. So Serena's going to help us do that. She's gone through the session 1 assignment. She didn't start way last year. She started this just maybe like yesterday, right? So it's not too late for you to do it. So Serena, let's bring Serena back and let's have her walk us through how she created her beat.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I had the same workbook that you all have. And I listened to some of them, and I saw the last session you all did boom bap. So I was like, I'm going to try and do something different. I tested out the house vibe, tried it out in Soundtrap, and it didn't quite fit my needs. And then I took a listen to the trap sound, and this is what it sounds like. So I liked that. I clicked on the link, and then I went into Soundtrap, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. So I went into Soundtrap and I added more than one loop. I'm an overachiever, but I went into the loops tab right here. I clicked on different instruments. So I had the drums already. I had my beat that you all gave me, but I added some synth, some piano, some bass, and this is what I ended up creating. Yeah, so it was what I created.
Come on. Y'all got to put the fire flame emojis in the chat for that one.
Yeah, you got to give Serena some love in the chat on that one.
So what's really interesting, Chin and Serena, since you all are both educators, how many times have we gone into classrooms and asked our students to do something they've never done? And they've said, I don't know if I can do it. I can't do it. And then they'll turn around once they are given the tools and once they muster up the confidence and maybe see you model it, they do something that defies your initial expectations. And not only did they do it, they were good at it. And I absolutely feel like that's the case in this particular instance. I mean, really quickly, Serena, as somebody who has never made hip hop, never rapped, but tried this and come up with some kind of banging. Can you talk to me about the process of, going through the loops, finding the loop, finding the template you want, and then finding loops that kind of spoke to you?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So I actually didn't change the tempo of either of the loops. I think I probably in the future, if I do this again, I would change the house and maybe make it fit the way I liked. But yeah, so I went into my loops. Admittedly, I had something in mind because I know I was going to write about family and culture. So I wanted to have something kind of connecting. So I actually typed East because I want like a Middle East theme, and I found some cool ones. And so then the Millions one, our loop pack that's Million, has a few of those kind of cool vibes. And so I added 2 of those, and then I wanted to have a bass to kind of round it out, make it feel like a full song. And then I actually even went in one of them and I added some effects just to kind of enhance it just a little more.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And what I really love about Soundtrap too is you have some music experience. Yeah. But for someone who doesn't have any music experience at all, Soundtrap is really designed to make that process really easy, seamless, and super simple. So you could have no music experience, but you could open up Soundtrap and end up creating some sort of, musical composition just from scratch. But you were able to take this and make something really dope. So amazing. Serena is really dope. You got some love in the chat.
They're feeling you in the chat.
Yeah. It's time to go ahead.
And what Serena modeled, every person watching this broadcast, you can do easily. Yeah. Like, Soundtrap, it's free to sign up and use the platform initially, and you can get started just like she did, finding a few loops that you love and like. And I think this is really great. You use your feelings. It didn't have to be super technical. You went with what felt good, and I think that's the most important thing in the creative process.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And as we continue to create, now that Serena, you did assignment 1, you completed it pretty quickly. make your own beat using one of the beat templates in the Make a Joyful Noise workbook. It's time now to get into the songwriting aspect of it.
Let's go.
And that's what we're here for today. So, I'm an MC songwriter. Asante also is a composer, producer, and also a songwriter. And songwriting sometimes can be challenging for folks. How do you take a focused idea and generate a song out of it? You see it, happen all the time with your favorite stars, and it looks easy, but maybe when you try it, it's a little more difficult. We're here to help you actually get started in doing that. And so as we get started, Serena, quickly, in terms of like songwriting in the classroom or songwriting practices that you've seen, right? As a music educator, what are some of the things that you've seen that have worked and that haven't worked? And what do you kind of maybe even wish was happening in the classroom?
Yeah. So I know that personally as a teacher, and I know many other teachers teach what they were taught. And so a lot of it is very Western classical, the form structure like binary, ternary, rondo, theme and variation. And then we teach that to our students, but there is a disconnect between what students are listening to versus what we're teaching them. So I know that as teachers are trying to be more culturally responsive, culturally sustaining, we're trying to find ways to incorporate songwriting, hip hop, things like that our students love into our classroom and into that. So I feel like songwriting and all of your templates work really well for this.
That's dope. That's dope. That's great to know. And Asante, we also think it's really important, just as Serena's modeling right now, for the teacher to remember that they're also an artist. And this webinar is definitely geared towards and for educators, but these tools are for any creative or anyone interested in making and creating music. Asante, what do you think about the teacher as artist?
Wow, that could be a webinar in and of itself, and I feel like that's a persona and a concept we need to continue to bring to surface, because essentially the teacher, even if they're not necessarily teaching an artistic discipline, the teacher should be an artist. The teacher should approach what they're doing through a creative lens. And I think about hip hop, right, Chin? Like, we come from a culture where there's a such thing as the cipher. And you already, like, for people who don't know, in the cipher, people get in a circle and everybody gets a chance to share their story. And when we go into classrooms, we like to create ciphers. We like to have this approach that we are teachers, but we're learning as well. And we're modeling our artistry for our children or our youth or whoever the students are. And we're giving the students the opportunity to teach us as well. So we just think it's really important for teachers to center themselves, especially if they come from musical backgrounds, to center their ability to be expressive, their ability to tell their stories, because if they can do it, they can walk into a classroom and model that behavior and inspire kids or whoever their students are to do the same thing. But a lot of that has to do with having the right tools.
The right tools. And we don't have all the tools, but we definitely have some that'll help you get through this process. And so, capturing creativity, Asante, what are some of the things we do to capture creativity?
I would be really curious to hear how everybody kind of captures creativity. And going back to what you said about tools, everybody kind of has a different method. And this is why platforms like this are so important, so we can share how we capture. But I know some of our favorite methods are, we just like to brainstorm. We just write words and phrases. Like, I'm a writer. I have notebooks and tablets and docs full of just words and phrases and words and phrases. So by the time I get ready to write, I can easily take a word, a concept, and it'll inspire nothing. Another one of my favorites, I use the voice memos app on my phone religiously. Yep. When people ask me what I'm listening to, I usually tell them I'm not even really listening to songs. I'm listening to my own voice memos. And it's such a technologically dope way to capture just ideas as they come. Chin, yes, I feel like this last one gets a lot of flack. People will be talking about mumble rappers, this, that, and the third. But can you talk about how mumbling is even helpful in the creative capture?
Listen, educators, songwriters, creatives out there, Asante and I mumble all the time to come up with lyrics for a song. It's important that as a songwriter, a singer, an MC, that you understand your voice is another instrument in the composition, right? Your voice it can't clash with what's happening. It has to work, in synergy and be connected to what's happening in harmony, I should say. And so if you're mumbling, melodically, to try to find lyrics, that's a great way to find a really nice flow, a really nice melody that you can use for your lyrics. You don't necessarily even need words to start. You apply the words later. You know, the mumbling kind of gets out the feeling. You know, how are you feeling when this track, you know, hits, and the mumbling helps you create a nice melody. And then it's easy to apply the words after. You know, try that technique. I love to see how it comes out for all of you. And with that, it's time to actually jump into this activity, Asante.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So let's talk a little bit about songwriting. You know, in the songwriting process, let's get ourselves prepared to songwrite.
One commonality among all MCs is his or her ability to write rhymes. The discipline to write has always been a struggle, even among literature's greatest writers. What does it take for today's MCs to write?
That's where you show your mind's ability, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like what you think about really and how you really perceive the world and what kind of person that you really are.
When you want to eat, even though you may not consciously know it, your body and mind is preparing you to eat. From the time you say, I want to eat, certain saliva starts coming up in your mouth. You start looking for the fork and knife, where you're going to sit down. Even as you sit down, certain muscles in your body are preparing you now to eat. The same thing with writing lyrics. It's the same way, that don't just sit and write a lyric. Like, I'm going to sit and write a lyric. Prepare your mind to deliver its lyric to you.
Prepare your mind to deliver its lyric to you. You don't just sit down and start writing. You have to actually prep your mind, you know, prep your thought process, prep your energy to actually deliver a lyric to you. So let's start preparing folks to do that, Asante. And we're going to do that by first tapping into our brainstorming practice and creating word walls. We're going to help you develop hooks and verses and give you some examples of how we do that using templates that we've created. So now let's talk about how to brainstorm, because you're going to brainstorm in about 2 minutes. If we can get the video to play. Here we go.
Let's brainstorm some words and phrases you can think of related to your favorite family traditions and elements of youth culture. Now, we can put a quick brainstorm together to show you exactly how this works. Let's do it.
Let's go.
So when we brainstorm, we like to free our minds, open our minds, and imagine as many words and key phrases as we can related to a particular topic or subject that we're writing about.
And this is so amazing because this becomes the building block that all our future creations are built upon.
No doubt. So want to jump into it?
Let's go ahead.
Let's go. So we're talking about culture, right?
We're talking about culture. So what's the first thing that comes to your mind when we're talking about culture?
Man, for me, the first thing that comes is hip hop.
Hip hop, hip hop.
What about you?
So when we say hip hop, it immediately makes me think about youth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Youth culture.
Youth.
For me, I'm thinking about culture. Blackness is coming to mind.
Blackness. Well, if we're talking about blackness, that makes me think about soul.
Ooh, you can't forget about soul.
What else you got?
You know what, man? I'm thinking about education. My family and my household education was key.
Education. I don't know. Education and the way we use it, it always makes me think about liberation.
Wow. Yup, liberation.
What else you got?
You know what, man? We've been talking about food so much too, man. You from New Orleans?
I'm from New Orleans, right? And one thing I love to eat, brings me joy, is gumbo.
Gumbo.
Heard of that gumbo?
That gumbo is serious. And then thinking about youth culture, man, I keep thinking about that. And look, man, you look fresh. I look fresh.
Thank you.
Know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
You got that drip.
You got that drip drop.
Let's put that on.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? We done talked about gumbo, we done talked about drip, but what about actual geographical locations?
Come on.
Again, we could just write New Orleans down.
Let's go.
I'll rep it forever.
Right. And then what about Ghana?
Ghana, in fact,
West Africa.
These clothing, these fabrics, it reflects Ghana.
Yeah, it comes from right there. I gotta throw one more youth culture, reference on there too, man.
Go ahead, man.
Let's talk about It's Lit.
Woo!
Let's go there.
It's litty.
It's lit. So I think we got a cool brainstorm, right? We could do more, right? But some of these words are gonna come back later in an activity in a video later on. So make sure you pay close attention.
And again, as you think about these things, don't be limited. Don't be scared. In fact, remember to realize that you are culture. So you yourself could go on this board.
Exactly. No doubt.
There we go. So are you ready to brainstorm? Asante, let's talk about what we're going to brainstorm.
Yeah, so KRS-One talked about preparing the table, preparing the mind to receive the rhyme, guiding questions before you can arrive at the solution. You got to ask the right question. So some of the questions we want to ask, the three main important ones, and feel free to populate your brainstorm, your idea in response to these questions in the chat. You know what I'm saying? What is culture? Everybody be talking about culture, but what is culture?
Right. What is
Right?
it? What is it?
What is your personal definition of culture, right? Because we know what Merriam-Webster said. They got their definition. Is your definition the same as Merriam-Webster? Do you have a unique perspective on culture, right? And with that in mind, what elements of your culture bring you joy? That's important to know. It makes your time on earth a lot more pleasurable. If you know what elements of your culture bring you joy, and you can cultivate those things in your daily life. Let's see if we got anything in that. Let's see. And while we think about that, you know what I'm saying? Let's look at a quick video where again we ain't got all the answers, but we're just delving into our perspective and what culture could possibly be. Let's take a watch in. And although we may live in different places, the rhythm of the drum has a way of connecting us all, from the second line of New Orleans to the bamboo of West Africa, you dig?
Yeah, we got that. We got all of that. Now, this song is a great picture of different Black cultures and how they're all connected. No matter who you are or where you're from, you're connected to some form of culture. But before we go too deep, let's define what we mean by culture.
Yo, that's a great point. So before we go any further, I think it's important to ask a critical question. What is culture? And culture means your family traditions based on where you're from, like the language your family speaks, the food your family eats, or it can refer to specific holidays you all celebrate.
True indeed. But culture is even bigger than that.
Yeah.
It can also relate to youth culture, like current trends in fashion, music, slang. You create culture every day, and the world is always looking to you for what's next. Culture's always changing.
Yo, culture is always growing.
Culture. So we're going to be brainstorming about culture and these three aspects, right, Asante?
Yeah, the three aspects of culture. Of course, we're talking about family culture, and we kind of touched on this a little earlier, but you have your family culture, what you may have inherited directly from your family, the things that keep your family together. Then it's popular culture. You know what I'm saying? Like popular culture, of course, is something like hip hop, wearing Nikes, gold chain, ice grills. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the popular culture is. And of course, then there's everyday culture. And this is how it manifests in your everyday activity, how you implement your behavior.
Boom. So here we go. Here's an actual worksheet from the Make a Joyful Noise workbook. And this is something that you can use. We're going to give you an opportunity in a second to actually brainstorm. You're going to brainstorm about your family culture, popular culture, and everyday culture. Really probably focus for this activity on your family culture because you'll have about 2 minutes. You can see a brainstorm I actually did and translated into a verse and a hook, which you're going to do later as well. But I chose some keywords out of my brainstorm like family pride, family first, celebration, Africa, Black history. All these things made it into my hook and my verse later on. And now, let's give everybody an opportunity, Asante, to brainstorm, right? We're preparing ourselves to write. So we're going to throw on some music. We're going to give you about 2 minutes. Now, if you don't have this worksheet in front of you, if you don't have the workbook, just get out a piece of paper, get out your notebook, your composition book, get out your notes app on your phone and brainstorm about your family culture, right? You're going to add words, phrases, and concepts that relate to your family culture. The essential questions: how has your family culture shaped your life? And what do you like about your family culture? What brings you joy? So let's put 2 minutes on the clock, Asante, and let's play this instrumental and let's see what people come up with. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So we'll give you about 1 more minute.
And we definitely encourage you all to continue this activity long after this webinar is over. Because again, this is just a part of a scaffolding process that will help you write your songs.
Definitely. And we're
Well,
just
that's
showing,
it, bro.
there it is.
That's it.
We're just giving you a little bit of experience of how this works and how it could be implemented. But let's keep the process going. Now, we hope that you were able to get some words, right? Get some brainstorming words. Because now we're going to use what you brainstorm to actually write.
That's right. That's right. Let's write. Right. So the way we have this broken up, the way we're going to write our songs, of course, the easiest way is to have a hook and a verse. And a hook is that part of the song that repeats at intervals. It's the main idea of the song. It's the thing that hooks you in. If somebody asks you how a song go, it's usually the part you sing because it's catchy. It's easy to remember. It usually follows each verse, right? And then the verse is that thing, you know, it's like you're going deeper. Like if the hook is the chapter title, the verse are the actual sentences and paragraphs that give you deeper immersion into the chapter. Now, a song may have one verse or many verse, whatever the number, they take the main idea and describe it more specifically. Let's look at how we get into creating our verses.
Let's do it.
Yo, that was pretty easy, right? Now pay close attention because the next assignment has 2 parts. So first, we're going to take the words from your culture brainstorm and develop a hook. Now remember, the hook is the main idea of your song that gets repeated. It's kind of like the mission statement of your song. To give you some inspiration and to make sure your hook is in rhythm, you're going to use the heartbeat track to help you write the hook. Let me show you how I would make a hook from my culture brainstorm. Now, these are all the words from my culture brainstorm, but there are a few words that really stick out to me. Now, it's important to remember that even if you don't use a word, you can represent the idea of the word in your hook, right? So here's what my hooks sound like. Give me a beat, bro.
My brother, I got you.
Perfect. So for this first one, I focused on the words blackness, purpose, giving back, and education. Keep your blackness and your purpose, give back and keep learning. Your blackness, your purpose, give back and keep learning, right? Now for the second one, I pulled out hip hop, soul, jazz, and rock and roll. It went something like this. Yeah, like hip hop is that new soul, jazz is rock and roll. Say hip hop is that new soul, jazz is rock and roll. And for the last one, I was focused on youth culture and just kind of staying fresh. So I pulled out stay fresh, dripping, trend setting, and being timeless.
Come on.
And it went something like
Show them how to do it. Show them how to do it.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites, you know what I'm saying? Let's rock it out like this. Yeah, yo, we stay fresh, drip fest, trend set, so timeless, we stay fresh, drip fest, trend set, so timeless, we stay fresh, drip fest, trend set, so timeless, we stay fresh, drip fest, trend set, so timeless. Hey. No doubt.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now, really quickly, let's look at an example of what a student did using the same process. Family culture, popular culture, everyday culture brainstorm. We're going to listen to what Lamar was able to create from his brainstorm to show you how possible it is.
I ain't a thug because I'm black. I know myself, I'm more than that. There's nothing else I'm trying to be. I'm all about just being me. I ain't a thug because I'm black. I know myself, I'm more than that. There's nothing else I'm trying to be. I'm all about just being me, being me.
I think what's really important to note about what Lamar did is he produced this track and recorded his vocals in Soundtrap, right? He did this in a summer workshop that Asante and I did, but he created this from the Culture Brainstorm. And now it's your turn. You're going to jump into the Culture Brainstorm right here. So this is an example of what I created using my Culture Brainstorm. But Asante, I think we should just give them the template and let them listen to the track and see what they can come up with. I'll play a piece of my example so they know how this goes. So this is a Mad Lib. This is an actual template. This is the Make a Joyful Noise workbook that it has the end lines for you, so you don't have to think about rhyming at the end, but you're able to use the boxes in the front to fill in things from your Culture Brainstorm, right? Here's what I came up with from my Culture Brainstorm earlier.
Yo, can you cut that up a little bit?
I sure can.
Yeah, give him a little sauce.
My ancestors are my inspiration. I want to make change for my generation. I learned from those that came before me. It's important that I tell my story. Fish and collard greens is what we eat. Our own kind of English is what we speak. And all over Africa is where we're from. The way we celebrate is how it's done. And I'll do anything for my family. Making them proud is what makes me happy. I wear clothes that are for my culture. Colorful and vibrant, I thought I told you. My ancestors are my inspiration. I want to make change for my generation. I learned from those that came before me. It's important that I tell my story. My ancestors are my inspiration. I want to make change for my...
I think you get the idea, right? And so now we wanted to show you some teacher examples, but I think we can go straight to you doing this. And we're going to give you 2 minutes on the clock again. And let's see what you all can create, right? We're going to throw a track on and let it play for 2 minutes and see what you can come up with. And remember, these templates are available in the Make a Joyful Noise workbook if you really want to dig into it. But let's take a few minutes to see what you can generate right now. You got 2 minutes on the clock, my brother?
We got 2 minutes on the clock. And listen, y'all, even if you just focus on the hook right now, let's see if you can do a hook using the template in 2 minutes. I believe in y'all. I think y'all can do this. So let's go.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Oh, Jay, I thought you was spitting bars, Jay Amara. All right, bro. That's it.
2 minutes.
So,
2 minutes.
So
Go ahead.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we started a little behind, little technical difficulty. Y'all know how it go when Mercury's in Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. But y'all had 2 minutes. I feel like you all could have put together some really phenomenal bars. At least got started. You see the whole point and purpose of the template, and even the beat. I produced that on Soundtrap. That everything you heard, I produced on Soundtrap, and then Chin rapped on Soundtrap. So with that being said, I feel like we wanna see what this looks and feels like in like real time before we get out of here, right, Chin?
I think that's the goal, man, to see how somebody actually translated and worked through this entire process. And I definitely got to give a shout out to Jay Amara. Jay Amara's in the chat sharing, her brainstorm ideas, sharing some of her bars. Really appreciate that. Really dope engagement. And Serena, you had an opportunity to work through this process that we just kind of scaffolded quickly during this webinar. We want to see what you came up with.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to share. So this is my brainstorm word wall. I had a lot for family and culture, and I didn't get a chance to like put it all in my rap. So I'm excited to kind of expand on it. And then I did popular culture and then everyday culture. And then right after I did the hook and verse template, and I wrote this one first. And it wasn't quite, I tried to record, it wasn't quite sounding right. And so I did the second one, the popular and everyday culture. And that for some reason, I just happened to have the flow worked for me. And then I went back to this family one and it finally clicked because I got some of the similar, because the template is kind of Mad Lib style, I got flow of it all.
The cadence, right.
Exactly. So then I went into Soundtrap and I did both, but I'm going to share my family culture one today. And this is what it sounds like. And I want to preface, I'm not a rapper, but I think that's the beauty of it, is that, teachers are trying to be vulnerable and create, even though they may not be great. And I think students pick up on that and they'll be like, oh, if she can do it and she's not very good, I can do it. And it's okay if it's not great. So here it is. My parents are my inspiration. They set it up for my generation. The struggles came before me, so I could share and tell my story. Rice and stuff is what we eat. Farsi English what we speak. Iran and US where we're from. Mixing cultures is how it's done. I have so much love for my family. Being with them makes me happy. I want to continue for my culture and make it our own. I thought I told you. My parents are my inspiration. They set it up for my generation. The struggles came before me, so I could share and tell my story.
Listen. Serena on the track. Listen, killing this. Serena, awesome job. Really and truly. Thanks. I know you did this really quickly. Can you talk us a little bit through your process and how quickly you were able to do this, but also like how did the templates serve, just in the process for you? How did they work?
Yeah, I think it was super helpful to have those templates because I could then say, okay, I'm going to fit in this sentence in this, these 4 bars and kind of make it flow and fit. But if I were to do it again, I might even not use the templates and add in more words. Then I started to see like, oh, okay, I got this. And maybe I want this to be longer and maybe I want this to be shorter. And you can kind of see that between my hook and my verse. I changed up the way the structure was in terms of the rhythm. So yeah, I definitely think it was helpful to have and as a starting point, right? Which I think is good. It like revved up my creativity, which I think is the point of all this.
It is.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think you made an important point right there, just in saying that the template gave you a starting point. And that it isn't the end all be all. The template is really training wheels. You may or may not have done this. If you've done this, you might be beyond the template. But if you haven't, right, it's an opportunity for you to kind of get in there, get the hang of it, and then expand beyond it as you're describing right now. So awesome. Really dope.
Amazing. And then I think for those who actually go out and get the workbook, what's really dope is you can remix the template. You can remix the order. You can change the order of things to give you different combinations. So it's really endless where you can go with this. And we're always excited. Anybody take the template and just run with it, especially given the fact that at the
Right.
top of this, you said, I've never created a hip hop song, and you actually just did. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I know more about you.
Yeah.
I know more about
Exactly.
your culture. I know more about your life. And I feel like things like this, it creates empathy, and it helps us actually have like really humanity-based conversations. So that's really dope.
Definitely.
We gotta,
And one last,
unfortunately, we gotta keep it moving though, bro.
yeah, no, we definitely do. We definitely do. So I think what you just said was really important, though. Just in terms of activating it in your classroom
Mm-hmm.
and helping students get to know one another and sharing their cultures. And this can be used. I think it's really important that this is just not for music educators or people doing music in the classroom. You can use
Right.
this in English class, social studies class, and other
Yep.
disciplines because of all of the elements that are involved. And if we keep going, here is the homework. And the homework again is going to require that you have to make a joyful noise workbook. But I think it's really dope, man, if people can just get into Soundtrap. It's the free tool to start producing on Soundtrap. And if you took anything from what you learned today, prepare yourself to write. Brainstorm first and try to translate that focused brainstorm into some lyrics, right? That's the first step. This workbook really helps. So once you grab it, we love it if you write a 4-bar hook and an 8-bar verse using the templates we provided. You can record that mini song using Soundtrap, just like Serena just did an amazing job. And it'd be great if you could submit to us. And there's some links we'll give you right at the end of this that allow you to submit anything that you create as a part of this process. We'll also follow up via email with this. And here
Super
is that
dope.
link.
Super dope.
Yep.
Yep.
And so if
Here's the
you
link.
take out your phone, if you have an iPhone or you have an Android, and you take out the camera for that phone, and you hover over that QR code, it's going to take you to the Soul Science Lab link tree. And there you can actually check out Soul Science University. You can register for Soundtrap. And one thing we're doing today for this webinar is we're just giving folks 10% off of everything that's at Soul Science University. You can get any of the courses. Definitely get the Make a Joyful Noise course and submit your completed song there, because we want you all, to send it back to us so we can, at the end of this, actually share and showcase the work people have been
On the
creating.
next webinar. Yo, Chin, we gotta, I know we be on time, and thank you all for your grace, your mercy, your patience with us, because I know your time is valuable. But just want to shout a few of y'all out and then respond to a question. Of course, Isabella Mendez, super teacher, super musician, super teacher. We love you. We love you. Jay Amara, thank you for coming through, being so gracious with the skills. I see you rocking out, sister. Tamara Galloway, she came with a whole hook in the comments. She came with a hot fire in the comments.
We got to read that, bro. You have to read that real quick.
Now read it in your rapper voice, Chin. You got that.
I'll do it. I'm looking at it. It says, my parents are my inspiration. I want to bring understanding to a generation. I remember those that came before me. I desperately want to tell my story.
I felt that. I felt those bars.
Wow. Right there
and
on the webinar. It works.
And then Louise is saying, where the templates, please. I feel like he said please, but maybe he didn't. But where the templates, please. And so Chin just talked about the fact that if you put your phone over this QR code, it'll activate the link tree, and then you can click a link to go to our university. And the templates, everything you saw there in a workbook called the Make a Joyful Noise workbook, and they're meant to work in tandem with a 10 video curriculum we designed that takes you, puts you in the driver's seat of surfacing your purpose, deep diving into your culture, producing beats on it, and then writing songs about it. And like Chin just said, it's discounted just for you all today, right now. But even if you don't get it, you know what I'm saying? Because we just want to share useful tools wherever you're at in the journey. You can still get started today on Soundtrap and go in and just keep telling your story.
Yeah, and those 10 videos are available as well for free. Brandon, if you could do us a favor and put Soul Science University in the chat for everybody. Luis, you want to get the templates, you can go right there and grab them at Soul Science University.
Boom.
And yeah, are there any other questions? I want to thank Serena for coming through, and helping us make this happen. Serena, you listen, you killed it. You bodied it, as they say. You know, you came
Beyond
through and made this.
expectations.
Yeah, you know, made an amazing track, and then took the time with the templates, you know, to do this activity. And thank you for modeling and showing people what's possible.
No, thank
Definitely.
you for creating these and making it easy to create.
Amazing. And if we
Super
could,
dope.
as we're departing, let's bring Jess back on. You know, and let Jess is our, you know, our soundtrack kind of like diplomat, you know, representative. You know, let her take us out of here.
Well, I've just been luckily happy jamming out in the background, and just seeing the creativity flow out of all of you is such a joyful thing to witness. So I just feel like the luckiest person in the room to get to see all of that, whether it's all of the contributions that we've seen on YouTube, and of course, all the students and teachers that are going to use and see this recording later. We feel super confident that you all are going to make and create amazing, amazing content, amazing songs, and just enjoy the creative process. So again, thank you to everyone for joining today. And as a quick reminder, we are rounding out this trilogy, this awesome 3-part series on May 3rd. So that is a pretty long time to get a homework assignment done. I gotta say, that's a pretty nice extended due date. So
Definitely.
we can't wait to see what you can create, what you're excited to create. And you don't have to wait until then to connect with us. So of course, reach out after our webinar. We'll be in touch, and you can share anything before then. But of course, we'd love to highlight you and actually celebrate what you've created on May 3rd. So we look forward to getting back together with you in a few months here, and we will see you soon. Happy soundtrapping, happy creative songwriting. Thank you, Soul Science Lab, and thank you, team, for everyone who joined today.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming through, everyone. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Take care.
Let's take them out.